So let's say you have hail damage and you have a roof that's damaged, but you also have window screens and you got a gutter and you got window, let's say some windows were broke and some siding was done. A licensed general contractor, if you hire him, that earns you the right to get 20% on top of the claim. That's called overhead and profit. And that overhead and profit helps that homeowner overcome all the shortcomings that maybe the insurance carrier didn't give you enough money to do all the work.
Welcome to the Real Estate of Texas with the Gals of the Hill Country, brought to you by Solid Realty Group in Boerne, Texas at solidrealtygroup.com. And now your hosts, Jessica Johnson and Cali Red.
Okay.
I mean, I know Mike's name. So.
All right. Good morning, guys. My name is Jessica Johnson. I'm joined here with my fantastic business partner, Miss Cali Red, and we are the Real Estate of Texas here in Boerne. We are happy to be doing our show from the wonderful 153 Main here at Richter's Tavern. We are so thankful to Joey and Guy for allowing us to shoot up here. But a couple weeks ago, we were discussing things that sellers needed to be prepared for in selling their homes. And a couple of things that we really ended up discussing was making sure that big items were really covered in what needed to be done, what needed to be checked on, and what needed to be prepared for that sale of the house. And one of the big things that we came across was roofing. And we find that that sometimes is kind of a neglected thing that people don't really pay attention to until the moment that inspector comes out. And, you know, those inspectors like to tag a lot of things on there. So we were talking about our roofer, Mike Molina, who was a USA adjuster for quite a while, and he came out and helped us on one of our houses and make sure that the roof was in right condition. And so we decided to actually bring him on the show today to talk to him a little bit about how roofers help both the buyers and the sellers. So welcome, Mike. How are you this morning?
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Let's start off here. When you first get someone that is ready to sell their home and they want to make sure that the roof is in good working condition, what do? What's the start of that to get them prepared to actually sell their house and have that roof right?
Well, they definitely need to have a inspector come out and that not only knows about roofing but knows the insurability of the criteria that it takes to pass a roof. So in case the roof, let's say the roof has no problems, but it's hard to tell unless you have that experience. And so as an insurance adjuster, they would know if that roof would be able to, be insured or not. So you need to find a credible company that knows the difference between what just a roof is, if there's missing shingles or if there's got hail damage or not.
Right. So like one of the things that we had mentioned earlier is you were saying something about tree branches.
You notice that when an adjuster comes out and they see tree branches and limbs that are touching the roof, the first thing that that an adjuster does is he automatically assesses that the homeowner's not taking care of that home. They're not doing the right thing for the roof. And so if there's a claim, he's already thinking, well, they're not, he may deny the claim because they're not taking care of that property.
Okay. So should they call their insurance directly to get a roofer to come out, or how do the sellers prepare themselves to check the condition of the roof?
That's a very good question. And I always tell my clients, never call your insurance, ever.
Why?
Don't ever call them first.
Okay.
Well, the first thing is the fact that if you call the insurance, just even ask a question and you give your information like your address, they mark it up as a claim, even though they haven't even paid out. So if you got 2 or 3 claims, then they either increase your rates or they drop you and say you have to get a new insurance company. So,
but how does that protect the person that has a homeowner's policy if asking if the roof is? I mean, you would think that it would be preventative measures, that the seller would be really smart to be like, hey, I just want to make sure my roof's in good condition. Why would that cause so many issues? That seems to be a silly thing that the insurance would do.
That's a very good question, and the answer is the insurance company is not a preventive company. They're a damage company. They wait for you to have damage. If you file a claim, they come out. They don't have adjusters that come out just to check the roof to see if it's in good condition or bad condition. So the best thing a homeowner could do is call somebody like maybe their agent can refer them to an inspector, like a roof inspector, or a licensed general contractor that has the criteria, that knows the insurability of the roof, so that they're not getting dinged for calling their insurance carrier and saying, hey, I got some missing shingles, can you send somebody out?
So what would be the benefit of somebody calling a licensed general contractor rather than just a fly-by-night roofer?
So
if we have like a hailstorm,
correct.
Roofing signs pop up all over the place.
So number one, if the person is a licensed general contractor, the city of San Antonio or whatever the city they're in, they've already done the background check on them. They've already had an FBI fingerprinted. And so they don't need to worry about that fly-by-night who coming in who steals checks. He's already has to pass the backgrounds to get that license. So that protects you already by knowing that the person's a licensed general contractor. Second, if you have damage from a hailstorm and you hire a roofer, you're losing 20% additional monies that you could have gotten because you hired the licensed general contractor. Let me explain. So let's say you have hail damage and you have a roof that's damaged, but you also have window screens and you got a gutter and you got let's say some windows were broken, some siding is done. A licensed general contractor, if you hire him, that earns you the right to get 20% on top of the claim. That's called overhead and profit. And that overhead and profit helps that homeowner overcome all the shortcomings that maybe the insurance carrier didn't give you enough money to do all the work. So number one, if you get a licensed general contractor and he is a one-stop shop, he's going to do everything. You're not having to find 5 companies to do all the work. You got one guy that can do everything, and you just earn 20% more on top of your claim just because you hired a guy like a licensed general contractor. It's kind of like building a home. You got your contractor, you got the concrete, the framing. So that's what he's doing. He's like an orchestrator who orchestrates all the different trades. And so because he's doing that and he's making sure all the work is going to get done properly under the insurability of the insurance company, he's the one that's going to send in the documentation telling the insurance company everything was fixed. So now the insurance will release the depreciation check, where years ago the insurance used to just write you one check and say, okay, go get whatever you want to get done. So now the insurance don't do that anymore. They hold back a big chunk and they say, we'll give you that big chunk of money until you get everything fixed, and you have to send in the documentation. So if you send it into just a roofer, the roofer's going to commit fraud by saying everything was done and all he did was roof. So he's going to want all that money and that depreciation amount. If he's only going to do the roof, then you're stuck with out of pocket trying to fix the gutters, the windows, the screens, the garage door. So you're shorted. But if you get that extra 20% because you hired that licensed general contractor, you get that extra 20%. That makes a huge difference.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that does make a huge difference because then you're getting more done. Done, same amount of money.
One guy, he's licensed. He's got background check. You don't have to worry about him running off stealing your check. Secondly, he's going to fix everything, so you're not hiring 5 different companies. You're not going to have to do backgrounds on all 5. You only had to do one. And you just earn 20% more money to help you with the shortcomings of the insurance.
So you're talking about the seller themselves. So let's just mathematically do this. So if you have a claim on your roof and say it's a $10,000 job that needs to be done for the roof, your insurance payout's going to be $12,000. And then that allows you to fix the additional damage that's done to your house, such as the shingles, the screens, the windows, the wall, anything like that needs to be done.
That's pretty simple math. That's right.
Yeah. Wow. That's a really I did not know that that's how the insurance pays out for the roof.
I know it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's really interesting because you don't realize that. Now, in order to contact a roofer, what kind of costs are associated with that for the seller to get an estimate on their roof that they need to be X amount of things replaced or fixed or whatnot before it's done?
Well, I don't charge anything for the inspection, and I don't charge anything for that estimate.
Okay.
To me, that's the nature of the beast. Either you're going to get a roof one day and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cost of driving out to that house, wherever it may be, that's a cost that I'm willing to eat. Now, a lot of companies, they charge $75, $120 to give you an estimate. They don't want to waste their time going to your home looking to see if you have damage or not. But the difference between that and what I do is because I know that eventually, I got 5 or 6, 10 realtors that call me and go, hey, Mike, I got a roof I'm buying or I got a roof I'm selling. And I'll go do that free roof inspection, and I'll double check to make sure that roof qualifies.
Right.
So that way they don't have to call their insurance and get something like a claim attached to their policy saying, well, you've called us back in June and then you called us again in March, so you only get one more, and then something else happens to them, like let's say that water pipe inside their house and it busts. Well, that's a third claim, and Now they're looking at premiums going up.
That just seems so interesting that that's how the insurance kind of work on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very interesting statement. But if you guys are just joining us, we are here with Mike Molina with Molina Roofing. He's also a licensed general contractor. We're really happy to have him here on our show. So what is some really good suggestions for sellers to maintain their roof and to keep it in good condition while they live in the house? Like, what are your big check items for them to make sure that they're doing?
That it looks clean.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a second company, A-Pro Power Washer and Cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
You can see some of my before and after pictures that I brought in, and they're not dirty roofs. They're actually organisms that are living on your roof.
Like mold?
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you clean that mold off, you add 5 years life to the roof. Secondly, a lot of times if the mold is up there, you can't see if you have hail damage.
Mm-hmm.
And this individual this person here on the left, we cleaned his roof for $900, and then he wound up seeing all the hail damage, and he got a brand new roof out of it. And so he filed. We recommended that he filed his insurance a claim, and he got the claim in, and we got him a brand new roof, and it didn't cost him hardly nothing.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So when you go up there to clean it off, is it really just the rain that's saturated over the time and like the oak mold and the whatever we have here, whatever gets blown in from, whatever dust and all that fun stuff.
Sahara Desert
dust and all of that. So are there certain types of shingles or roofs that are better here in Boerne and San Antonio that you recommend?
A tile roof, which is way more expensive.
A tile roof.
Tile roof is very expensive. However, pretty much is hail preventive. I mean, it's hard to damage a tile roof. I've seen them damaged over a period when they're 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They become brittle because of the Texas heat.
Yeah, of course.
And they can get damaged, but you're looking at 20 to 30 years before something happens to it. But it's the most expensive roof. You may be paying $70,000 for a tile roof.
Oh.
Now, the good thing
that's
about...
as expensive as some of the houses.
Oh, absolutely. Now, 30-year shingle, which is composition 30-year shingle, it may get damaged in probably 10 years. And if there's a hailstorm every 10 years, you're going to get a new roof out of it. And the insurance carrier pays more money for that 30-year roof. If you have a pretty nice sized roof, you're not really paying too much for getting reinvested in your own house because the insurance carrier is going to carry that. It's going to give you that new roof.
Now, because you used to be an insurance adjuster, on the insurance, is there a life when you get your roof replaced? Is the amount that you get reimbursed dependent on how old that roof is? Or do the insurance just come in and whether there was, a new roof last year and now there's damage, they replace the whole thing? Or do they kind of minimize it and say, we're just going to change out certain shingles or do this? Or do they take the whole roof off and replace the wood beams that's underneath it? Like, how does that roll in together to be something that's good for the seller that maintains the life of that roof?
That's a very, very good question. So here's the answer. If the roof is damaged beyond repair, no matter if it's 1 year old or 6 weeks old, the insurance carrier, as long as your policy is a replacement cost policy, will take the whole roof off and replace it with a brand new one. If the hail is extremely large, like grapefruit size, and you have wood damage, then they'll have to replace every one of those rafters or joists that were damaged. So you're looking at decking damage, you're looking at rafter damage, and of course if it's been damaged that bad, then you're looking at interior damage. So a licensed general contractor is the way to go. That's the guy you really do want to fix your roof.
So you had mentioned cost replacement.
Replacement cost.
Now, is there a different type of insurance that
Yes.
and what's that?
Actual cash value, ACV policy.
Okay.
So the way I can describe it is if, let's say you have a car that's 10 years old, and it's when you bought it, it was $10,000. And now it's 10 years old and it's only worth $3,000. Well, if you have an actual cash value policy, they're only going to give you the $3,000 minus your deductible. Let's say your deductible is $1,000, so you're only going to get $2,000. Whereas if you have a replacement cost policy, no matter what year it is, 20 years from now, if the cost of the value of the roof costs $50,000 for a shingle roof, hypothetically, then they owe you the $50,000 because you kept up with a replacement cost policy. So there's two types of policies: a bad one that ain't worth the paper it's written on, which is actual cash value, bad; replacement cost value, good.
All right. So
So
we need to make sure we tell.
I have a question before we run out of time.
Yeah, no, of course.
So we were talking about the cleaning of the roofs and the photos that you brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And how the organisms everybody can probably relate to this. You can see the roofs and it looks like there's water kind of running down by the different, by your vents or your pipes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was just the water patterns running down, but you were telling me that it's because of the metal. So tell us about that.
So the metals that are exhausts sticking out of your roof, they're metal. They're made of metal. And so the ions from the metal prevents the organisms from growing in that area. So if you ever look up a roof and you see a real black roof, but you see these clean streaks all over the place, and every one is associated with a pipe.
Yeah,
You're
or
wondering,
the flashing in the valleys, yeah.
Right. So why is it clean? It's because the organisms can't live on those areas where the ions are, which tells you it's not dirt. It's something living there. And the way we clean it is using a soap and a rinse. So we're not power washing your roof. We're actually just soaping it down with the killer. It's biodegradable. And then we rinse it off, and it cleans the roof, looks brand new.
Yeah, and you were telling me that the organisms eat the glue that keeps the
Granules.
Tell me about that.
So they have to live on something,
Yeah.
the organisms. So they eat the glue that holds the granules. Now, I'm not joking. And so if you look in your gutters and you see tons of that granular, looks like sandpaper, and it's falling in your gutters, it's because the granular, or you're losing the granular glue that's held them on, and it's coming out of every time it rains, it comes down your gutters and it falls down, and you'll see them coming out of the bottom of the gutters. And
So that's why if you clean your roof, it'll last 5 more years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you get that organism that's living, growing, and eating, get that off your roof, and you got your roof that's going to last you another 5 years.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So how often do you recommend that people actually clean their roofs then?
When it's black.
When it's black. Okay, so you just look for that color contrast.
Yeah.
That's
I won't
really
clean
it.
a roof if it's over 10 or 11, 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
'Cause then it's just too old. So there's a period where you have to stop and you say, okay, the roof is too old. Wait for hail.
Yeah.
Now, I've had 2 clients that we cleaned the roofs that were like 7 years old and got real black. And after we cleaned it, we could clearly see the hail. You couldn't see it before.
Right.
And so he filed the claim. So it cost him $900 to clean the roof. But then we absorbed his deductible.
There you
And
go.
he got a brand new roof out of it. So I applied the $900 toward his deductible, and that's how he was able to get a new roof out of it.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to find out how to get in touch with you, see if they want to get their black roof recolored, or they want to check, that their roof is still in good condition, or a buyer that's getting ready to buy a house that wants to make sure that the roof has longevity, how do they reach out to you, Mike?
So my telephone number is 210-303-7553. And my personal cell phone number is 210-268-5589. You can look me up at aproroofingandconstruction.com. aproroofingandconstruction.com.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mike. We really enjoyed having you on. Thanks for answering our
having me.
roof questions, and we look forward to you checking out some more of our roofs as
All
we
right.
sell our homes.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Let's
I
do it.
learned 2
It's
new
a free
things.
service.
Yes, it is.
It
It's a
is,
free
yes.
service. Check it
Thanks so
out.
much.
Yes. So coming up next, we'll have our community corner, and we're looking forward to letting you guys know about a little bit more about Boerne and the real estate of Texas with Cali Red and Jessica Johnson. Thanks, y'all.
The real estate of Texas is always changing. Get a solid start to buying or selling a house with Solid Realty Group. Hey y'all, I'm Jessica Johnson, co-owner of Solid Realty Group, Boerne's 5-star realtors, where we have saved our clients over $3 million. Given today's rising home values and interest rates, every penny counts. Call Solid Realty Group to buy or sell, and we can help you save more and stress less. Call us at 210-827-3733, solidrealtygroup.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Cali Red with Solid Realty Group. I'm here with my lovely business partner, Jessica Johnson. And today we get the pleasure of speaking with Blythe Zemel, here with Girl with Grit, here in Boerne, Texas. And I'm so excited to find out all about this organization.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me today. So Girl with Grit program, it actually started in Boerne, Texas, but we're in the process of reaching out and serving the greater Texas Hill Country region with an emphasis on real life essentials, such as changing flat tires, road safety, engine maintenance, and introduction to tools and hardware and DIY home from plumbing to electrical for girls. But we also provide an awesome service to our community here in Boerne. Locally, we provide unique learning experiences that are for girls, but actually we provide them for boys as well. These learning experiences are things that develop life skills, career paths, and passions. And we do things that, we've taught them how to butcher and access deer. We have taught them how to do jewelry. We have taught them how to weld. We have pulled out a car engine with them. All kinds of things that we've done with the youth in our community.
So Blythe, what got you to create Girl with Grit?
That was what I wanted to know.
I know. Tell us.
Okay, so I officially started it after developing a line of female safety glasses called Safety Sasses. It was kind of this thing where I was noticing that the PPE world, the world of safety equipment, did not cater to women. So one day I was up in a tree with a chainsaw wearing cat-eye glasses, and somebody said, "That's some nice OSHA eye protection." And I said, "Wait for it, I'm going to make cat-eye safety glasses." So I did. I patented them and trademarked them. So they're called Safety Sasses.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
And in that process, I wanted girls to know why I was doing this, like why I was creating safety glasses for them, fashion-forward safety glasses. So Girl with Grit program spiraled out of that. And in the process, through social media and the connections that I had in the automotive world, I came in contact with a woman named Brianna Hoon. She'd been on Motor Trend. She was a well-known female fabricator and welder. She was working out in Minnesota, sharing her love of trades with a youth nonprofit called Big Ideas. We got to talking. She was on Monster Garage, Bitchin' Boot Camp, and so she really was on TV and known in that industry. Came down, taught 18 girls how to weld, and then moved to Austin a few months later, and now we're working out in Dripping Springs too. So Girl with Grit just launched its first program in Dripping Springs, Texas, and September 10th, and we already have enrollment in it. So,
fantastic. So the first project that you did here in Boerne was with those 18 girls welding? Mm-hmm. And when was that?
That was in April of 2021.
So it's all of this is pretty new.
Or 2020. It was the
exciting.
year of COVID. The year of COVID. This is
How did you
kind of
select your participants?
Actually, so I have been teaching for a long time and was just privately teaching kids art. And some of this spiraled out of that too, because when you're teaching kids art, you notice fine motor and you're using all kinds of tools. Like you don't use paintbrushes just in art. I mean, sculpture, it requires like screwdrivers and hammers and all kinds of stuff. So I was noticing that like kids really didn't know how to use screwdrivers. And this is not a problem with just girls. I mean, this is like, the thing is that I tried to do this co-ed and people, they're more interested when it's all about girls. But the reality is this is a problem with like boys too right now. And so I was noticing they didn't know how to use tools. So I started teaching them tools and started pulling those kids into the program.
Huh. That is really fascinating. So how do people get in touch with you to find out how they can get their kids into that so they can learn more about those things?
So our girl-based program, you can go online. It's girlwithgrit.com. You can also check us out on social media at Girl with Grit Program. For our co-ed programs, we started another nonprofit in Texas called Come and Make It. So you can go on comemakeit.com or comeandmakeit.org, and that's where our co-ed programs are. And those are local to Boerne.
What's your biggest need right now? Do you need volunteers? Do you need funding? What is it that
funding for sure, but what we'd really like to do is right now some of these flat tire workshops and tool workshops is a 6-hour camp that we run teaching these girls life skills, but not all of them can afford it. So what we're looking for is corporations, companies, private sponsors to fund these camps so that we can fund a whole day and just invite 6 participants or 10 participants or whatever that looks like. So that's what we're really looking for is camp sponsors and funding. We're looking also for space. Like we are a mobile program right now. We're based in Boerne, but we'd like to be throughout the communities, helping disadvantaged people too. So any facilities out in the area that are willing to house us too.
Okay, so anybody who wants to sponsor or wants to give you a facility, how should they contact you?
They can contact me at info@girlwithgrit.com. or they can contact me by phone. This is actually a Houston area code. It's 832-721-4469.
What an opportunity. This is so fun.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Blythe, for joining us on our show. We're super happy to have you, and we just love Girl with Grit. We think that's a fantastic thing to have in our community, so thank you so very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me today.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We are the Real Estate of Texas, and we were really happy and honored to talk to Mike Molina from A-Pro Roofing and Construction today.
That was a really great show.
It
I learned
was.
all kinds of stuff.
I know. Organisms that live on your roof. Fantastic. But I just wanted to say, here at Solid Realty Group, Callie and I really have found that we want to make sure our clients are taken care of and that we walk them through everything that they need to be involved in and understand and really be educated in every single element of real estate purchasing and buying. So if you guys are interested or you want some help, please reach out to us at 210-827-3733. That's 210-827-3733. Or you can find us at solidrealtygroup.com. And you can also hear our podcasts and our educational seminars that we give for our clients. Check us out, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday morning.
So if they are tuning in late and did not catch the whole show, then it gets posted there, right?
It does, yes, ma'am. So you can learn about that, and then you can learn about who our vendors are and who we've contacted, and you can get a little more information specifically from them if you want to know some more stuff.
All righty. Well, there you have it.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining, y'all.